we talk about the video in detail, I want to draw your attention to something. All right. If you are going to be applying to any school in Switzerland, I would like you to know that first thing first, as an international student, you cannot work in Switzerland when you are new. Like if you immigrate to Switzerland, you can only start working after 6 months. This is the duration given by the Swiss officials to international students. So make sure you have money on you and equally money for accommodation. In fact, just have money on you. Now, you can already see why they said you need a blocked account, right? The amount for blocked account, if you check on some Swiss universities website, you will notice that it is not the same. However, the figure you should put into consideration should be from 21,000 Swiss francs or 14 million CFA francs Cameroon money, or 18 million, not 18 million, but 18,000 Swiss francs. It all depends anyways, because most universities will write on their website that you need 18,000 Swiss francs to study in Switzerland. And do not forget that you are going to be creating an account to put this money inside. Now, looking at Switzerland and the Netherlands, I think Switzerland is a bit easy to enter because Cameroon money, you need like 14 million. You put in the account, you use the details, you apply for the visa. After you get the visa, you can decide to take the money out. But remember, you cannot work until it's 6 months when you move to Switzerland. Now, I'm going to be talking to you about some details you need to know. Then I want to talk about a school. I personally applied to that school, but the procedure, I didn't pull through with it. The reason why I didn't pull through with the procedure is because I was looking for payment methods. It was a bit difficult for me to do payment, and I had to reach out to somebody in Switzerland, but it didn't pull through, so I had to just abandon the procedure. I had money in my account, but I couldn't pay because of some restrictions in Cameroon banks. You already know if you're a Cameroonian. Now, going further, this university charges just 750 Swiss francs. If you want to study a master's program, I am talking about the University of Bern. But there is a technique I noticed. Remember I said I applied to this school, though I never pulled through, I didn't succeed in getting the admissions because of payment of application fee. You cannot pay with a card online. You can only do bank-to-bank transactions, which means you have to go to the bank, give them the details. And for those of you who are in Cameroon or Cameroonians watching me, you already know the procedure with Cameroon banks. Well, now, if you want to study in Switzerland, I will advise you to take a look at the University of Bern. And to those who have things like third class and those who have second class lower, try to apply to this university, guys. They do not discriminate, but for HND students, I do not know how it's going to look like. I'm not very certain. Okay, but according to me, if you put in a very strong SOP, and it's not all about the HND, it's about if you have some maybe scientific background or scientific research knowledge and you also have your HND, they can accept you into their program. But you need to prove to them that you actually deserve the program. And how do you prove it? By getting the motivation letter strong. Like you have to write a very strong motivation letter. To those of you who already have a first master's degree and you intend to study in Switzerland at the University of Bern, also understand that you can also tailor your SOP and tell them you want to do a second master's in case you want to do a second master's, and tell them why you want to do the second master's. And remember, every reason you are giving should be tailored towards research, because this school is a top university in terms of research. However, if you did your degree in Cameroon or Nigeria, you didn't do anything research. This is a fact I'm telling you. So you should be talking based on the program you did. You can even tell them, oh, I did research in maybe water chemistry, or maybe I did research in igneous petrology, but now I still want to do the research in igneous petrology because it's going to help me do one or two in my home country. You name them. But there is a particular experiment you didn't do in igneous petrology. That is why you found out, you did your research and you want to pursue this particular research because you know the University of Bern is offering it. Put things like this into consideration, they can actually give you an offer at this particular university. That's a trick. Now, what happened? Like I said, the tuition year is 823 US dollars, 750 Swiss franc, and of course 525,000 CFA francs Cameroon money. For naira, it should be like close to a million naira. It is not it's not too much money though, but remember this money is per semester, not per year. Now, if you are paying this, you have to pay 2 times per year. It's too cheap. Okay, Switzerland is a top country in Europe. If you check the best countries in Europe in terms of GDP ranking, you will see Switzerland at the top there. But you should note that in Switzerland, language is going to be a bit of a problem. They do not speak one language. There is German, there is French, there is English in Switzerland, and there is another language I'm forgetting. Note that when you finish your school, you might get it a little bit hard, but I will advise you to take a look at the Dutch immigration website. They call them IND. Take a look at the section for orientation year visa and check your university if it features in the top 200 worldwide. This information I just gave you now, I have said it many times in other videos, and I equally told somebody who lives and study in Switzerland at the moment. It is a trick you can use to come to the Netherlands after you finish your study program and look for a job. Moving further, I said I applied to this university, right? So you already know you have to pay an application fee of 100 Swiss franc. Late application would charge you more. So please follow the instructions. Late application should be around April or May. Now, there is still time for you to apply. Remember, the earlier you apply, the earlier you're going to get admissions, and then you proceed to visa application. Appointments might be an issue. Start your process early. Now, what do you need to apply for a master's program? I was applying for something related to geology. So please, those of you in the geochemical field or geologic or environmental science areas, take a look at this university. There are a lot of degree programs they offer in English. Check them as well. If you are looking at the requirements, these are the things that they asked me to upload to their website. And no, they didn't ask me to upload this, but I didn't even upload them. After you do the application, right? You create an account, you submit an application, they are going to send you a link and tell you to click the link. The link contains all these documents I'm going to give to you now. They will ask you for your bachelor's degree transcript. They will ask you for your bachelor's degree certificate. They will ask you for a copy of your CV. You have to write a motivation letter. They will equally ask you for your course description, the things that you did at your bachelor's level, and they will also ask you for your application fee payment receipt. They will also ask you for I think there is another document there, I can't remember anyways. But when you do the application, it's an easygoing application. Just make sure you do it on time so as not to have issues at the embassy when it's about visa time. Now, we have talked about the requirements. We have talked about the things you need to put into consideration. Remember, Swiss universities are quite cheap. Universities like the University of Bern, you also have the University of Basel, the University of Geneva, the University of Lugano. There are so many of them. I will pick them one after the other, then we talk about it. Remember, for you to apply for the visa to Switzerland, I talked about proof of funds. You also need accommodation contracts. Now, most universities will give you a contract, like they will give you a link to book accommodation. So when the link comes to you, check the accommodation. If it's what you can afford, tell them what you need. They are going to sign a contract and give you. But in the meantime, some universities might not have enough accommodation to take everybody. So in this case, you need to look elsewhere. You can still ask your university for links and they will tell you. Also put into consideration medical insurance, and remember to, if your grades are not very big, like if you do not have good grades up there, do not look at the ETS Zurich, like the state universities, like these top ranked universities. Example is ETS Zurich. Remember, you have cantonal universities in Switzerland, which I just talked about, Canton Bern now. You also have federal universities, you have applied science universities, and you have teacher education universities. I'm going to talk about all of these in subsequent videos, but for now, if you think you can pay 823 euros 2 times a year, because there are 2 semesters every year, please apply to Bern University. I have a friend in this school. I think she's graduated already. Switzerland is a good country. If you move to Switzerland, try as much as possible. If you study in Bern and you think Bern is not where you want to settle in future, then start learning the language of the canton you think you want to settle in future. If you think you are going to be in Zurich or Geneva, ask yourself what is the language in that canton, then you start studying the language. It is important for you to get a job after you finish your school, and also important to stay back and work. Do not forget that in Switzerland you can only get post-graduation work permit for 6 months. That is to say, a stay back visa will be given to you for 6 months to find a job. Otherwise, you have to exit Switzerland. It is what it is, but other countries can get you more than that. So put this into consideration and do not forget to apply for schools in Switzerland. The next school we are going to be talking about are also two cheap universities. I will be giving them to you too. There are two of them. Please do not forget that when you gather all those documents I mentioned to you, you are going to put them in an envelope and send to Bern University. That is the procedure. But do not send the documents without the payment of the application fee receipt. It's very important. And of course, there are other things you are going to see. Like I said, do not forget, if you apply to a program related to geology, not that you need your course description, what you studied during your undergraduate level. They need the course description. Thank you so much for this.